Hello and welcome everyone to the virtual rally Through Irish Eyes. My name is Ava and I'm a junior. I'm originally from Oradell, New Jersey, but on campus I live in Lewis Hall. I'm studying political science and Japanese, so my double major there. And some of the activities I'm involved in, I do choreography and perform with the Notre Dame Dance Co. I'm in the Student Policy Network, so I'm on a project researching alternative policing to reduce mass incarceration. And I also am involved with the Gender Relations Center as a program assistant, just planning super fun and informative events. And this is my co-host.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashton and I am also a current junior at the University of Notre Dame. I double major in finance and accounting with double minors in real estate and energy study. And on campus, I live on the best men's dorm on campus, Go Bucks, Bomber Hall. And I'm originally from North Platte, Nebraska. On campus, I'm involved with various academic clubs, including SIBC, which is the Student International Business Council, the Real Estate Club of Notre Dame, and the Asian American Association.
So tonight we're going to share some short videos from other Notre Dame students, and they're going to talk a little bit about Notre Dame as a global Catholic research university. So we're going to start out with research opportunities and all the diverse and wonderful ways students can get involved in research either domestically or abroad, independently or in a lab.
And then we're going to go into our faith life. Notre Dame is a Catholic university, and faith is integrated in everything that we do here. We also have one of the largest campus ministry staffs on campus.
And then we're going to talk about Notre Dame's global aspect. So all the different ways you can interact with the world and become a more informed global citizen, whether that's study abroad or, like I said, research abroad.
And finally, we will talk about the Notre Dame community, where you find your home under the dome, whether that be in your dorms, your residential lives, your academic life, and in your extracurriculars, and fully integrated in the idea of service through the whole community of South Bend.
So you've all pre-submitted some questions, but we're also happy to answer your questions tonight either through the chat or with our friends moderating the chat or live on air. But with that, let's kick off our time together by hearing about research and academics.
This is the Clow Institute, and my very first research project that I did through Notre Dame was the With Voices True project, which is an archive on race. And through this project, I interviewed diverse members of the Notre Dame community about their identity, their story, and how to improve campus race relations. So that grew my interest in just research in general. And I also worked on a project with community health workers in the Michiana area and researched the financing mechanisms. This project was also really interesting because it gave me a firsthand perspective of the experiences of community health workers. So I spent my junior year crafting a proposal to go abroad in the summer to do research in Ghana. And this grant was funded through the Kellogg Institute for International Studies. And through this grant, I was able to go to Accra, the capital of Ghana, for 6 weeks in the summer to survey mothers on the correlation between exclusive breastfeeding and postpartum mental health. So this project was extremely transformative to my Notre Dame career, and it was very special. I learned so much from the mothers there in Ghana, so much about the healthcare system in Ghana, and also how to conduct ethical research in another country. This research project in Ghana was really pivotal to helping me discern my career and my passions. I hope that other students who are thinking about Notre Dame know that Notre Dame provides so many opportunities to get involved in research at every single stage in your undergraduate career. I couldn't have done it without the support of all of the amazing professors and research institutes here at Notre Dame. There truly are so many opportunities to get involved in research. Even if you don't know exactly what you want to do yet, or you have a little bit of interest in one subject area, I would say definitely try and pursue it. And you never know where it can take you. The professors are so willing to help you, and there's so many amazing opportunities to go abroad and implement your projects. And these experiences can really help you to discern your career even further, and research is definitely an amazing way to figure that out for yourself.
Research is so strongly encouraged for all our students, no matter their major or their specific college. As Alexa showed, it can be conducted at international levels or in domestic levels. It could be done right here on campus through one of our many labs or within the local community of South Bend. So many different options exist. Ava, do you have some research experience you can share?
Yeah, so actually this past summer, I went to Ireland. I received funding for that through the Scholars Program, and I did an independent research project on the War for Irish Independence and how poetry really played into that and literature. Because even though I'm poli-sci, I also really, really love creative writing and literature, so it was great to get to integrate, global history with my interest in poetry. Ashton, do you know about other ways to get funding for research?
Yeah, so there's multiple different ways and facilities of support here at Notre Dame to get funding for research. So we have Q's, which is like, you can think of them as like an office of filled with like different faculty members with different research opportunities, and they'll help you write up grants through various institutions. And also like just in Mendoza College of Business, we have what we call the behavioral labs. So you can do research there as well. And in the behavioral labs, all we do is study consumer behavior. As an example, I was part of a research project that we measured whether students like Doritos or Cheetos more. Doritos came out to be the ultimate favorite in our student body, but we can increase our sample size to have a more holistic understanding of that. But do you have any advice for prospective students on how they can get involved in research?
Yeah, I'd say you can start out in so many different avenues. You can look into your department. So for example, in the video, Alexa went through the Clow Institute. You could go through different institutes like the Kellogg Institute for International Studies. You can obviously talk to CUES, the Center for Undergraduate Scholarly Engagement, or you could even just cold email your professors and say, I saw that you're doing this great research on XYZ. How can I get involved? And more often than not, they will, take you under their wing. Or if they don't have space in their lab, they will refer you to another one of their faculty members doing similar research. So as an undergraduate-focused university, there's so many different ways. But beyond research, academic life here on campus is also about choosing your major, choosing your minor. Do you have any advice for thinking about those options?
Yeah, so what's so great about Notre Dame is that when you come in as a first-year student, you're not actually aligned to a specific major or a specific college. You're just known as a first-year student. And before you step foot on campus, you'll be paired with an academic advisor. These advisors are there as your first form of academic support. So you let your advisor know, hey, I might be interested in poli-sci as you are, and your advisor will start forming your schedule, having you try one of the first poli-sci classes, but also having your schedule reflect the Notre Dame core. So the Notre Dame core is 6 liberal arts classes, 2 philosophy, 2 theology classes, and 2 writing intensive classes. These classes have to be taken by all university students, no matter their major. And what this allows you to do is to have all of our university's students have a very holistic understanding of all the different opportunities out in this world. So as an example, as a business major, I never thought I would be able to take a very literature-intensive class, but one of my liberal arts requirements was a literature requirement, and I thought, it might be just fun to try Shakespeare and to try Tolkien. So that was my literature class. It has nothing to do with business, but it's helped me kind of broaden my view and see that there's so many different facets that I can be really involving myself in. Yeah. And another thing we get a lot of questions on is, how is the workload life like at Notre Dame, and how do you prepare for that?
Yeah, so obviously we all come from different high schools and different levels of rigor in our courses, but you're admitted to Notre Dame because you can handle that. It might just be figuring out how that looks for you. For me, it is a very rigorous Google Calendar situation where I plan out my time meticulously. And that's really for my own well-being and peace of mind, because I want to know where I'm needed at all times. And then in terms of studying, I am like a hand to mind learner. So I rewrite all my notes like 3 times before my exams. And that's the way I study. I also, for Japanese, like for vocab and stuff like that, I just use Quizlet.
Wow,
Yeah. But can you talk about, talking about how we are an academically rigorous institution, how are students supported?
Yeah, so you have various forms of support. So the first and foremost in your academics, you'll be paired up with an academic advisor. And these advisors, their one and only job is to make sure that you graduate and you have the support necessary to succeed. So they will refer you, you can come to them with any problems, and they can refer you to the many support here on campus. We have our writing center. So if you're writing any sort of paper, I remember for my literature class of the Shakespeare one, I don't know how to start like a whole research paper on literature. So I went to the writing center and asked for help just to start formation of that structure. And there's various supports from the math department. They have their math tutoring labs. And also your dorms are a great source of support, as there's upperclassmen fully integrated into the dorm system. So they're always there and happy to help whenever they can.
Yeah, there are just so many support services available on campus because everyone here, from professors to advisors to your peers even, all want to see you succeed, and you feel that every single day. And so that's why it's really the people who make Notre Dame special. And I think that's a perfect way to segue into our next topic of community and residential life at Notre Dame. So my friend Anna will share what makes her experience living in her residence hall so special.
My name's Anna, I'm a sophomore, and I live in Lewis Hall. I think that being in an all-girls dorm like Lewis has definitely brought me more support in things that are like super challenging here at Notre Dame. School is definitely really hard, and being social can just be a challenge in college, and I think having a lot of girls around me just to support me and kind of know what I'm going through and all that kind of stuff has been really helpful and has definitely formed a community that I can be really proud of and confide in. Something that is unique to Lewis specifically is its location. We are located right behind the dome, so going outside I can just look up and see the dome. And we are also located right next to the lakes and the Basilica and Grotto. It's far from other buildings, but it really nestles you in and gives you like a sense of peace. So I'm a part of Hall Council. This year I was the wellness executive in Lewis, so I was putting on different wellness events, and something that I did personally in that was that I taught yoga. We have a courtyard outside of Lewis, and when it's warm outside, I will teach yoga to a lot of girls. So we usually have a pretty big gathering, and I think that's something super special and cool that I get to do within my all-girls dorm. One word that I would use to describe my dorm is probably bold. I think that we really aim to make ourselves known among other dorms. Dorm culture here at Notre Dame is really cool, so we put on different fun events. Like our signature event is LHOP, Lewis Hall of Pancakes, and we do like 4 floors of breakfast food, which is so unheard of, and it's definitely known throughout campus. I also think that girls in Lewis and in other girls' dorms are just like really excited to be here to learn, and that shows through some of the things that we pursue. So Lewis as a whole and other girls' dorms, I would say, are very bold in their sense of knowing what they want and kind of belonging here at Notre Dame.
Anna clearly loves Lewis, and what is so awesome is that so many people feel this exact same way about their own residential halls. Even myself, I live in Balmer Hall, the best men's dorm on campus. No matter who else you're going to talk to, they're going to always advocate that their resident hall is the best dorm. But if you don't take anything away tonight, make sure you remember Balmer Hall is the best. But yeah, it's such a great form of community. So when you are first year, you are randomly assigned into a residence hall. We have 33 single-sex residence halls on campus, and when we say randomly assigned, you are truthfully randomly assigned. There's no specific dorm for the business majors or for the athletes. Everyone is just fully randomized into a variety of dorms, and it's so cool that these are kind of your central hub for socializing amazing for academics, for spiritual life as well. I remember like first day moving in, I pulled up to campus and I was kind of nervous on, okay, how am I going to get all of my stuff into my room? And I pulled up to Bomber Hall and I was just greeted by a wave of Bomber Hall guys in red, and they were all so excited to meet me, and they completely unloaded my car in a matter of like 2 minutes. I was so surprised how fast they worked, and then they got everything into my dorm room and helped me set up. So that move in, that transition was so seamless, and I was like on the drive there, I was just so worried, like, okay, how am I going to move all of this in a matter of like a few minutes? Like, what am I going to do? So that kind of relieved me. But after that first interaction, Bomber Hall has been a community where I've always been able to fall back on. There's so many levels of support from your rectors, which are kind of the adult figures in your dorm rooms or your dorms, and then your ARs, which are your assistant rectors. They're grad students. They've completed their 4 years, and they can share a lot of insights on career or advice for you. And then you have your RAs, which are your resident assistants. They are current seniors at the university. They've gone through most of their time at Notre Dame. They know a lot of tricks that can help you. It's always great just to have such a meaningful source of support. Yeah. Ava, so you've came a long way to be at Notre Dame. So how do you adapt from living so far away?
Yeah, honestly, at first it was hard. I missed my family, my dog, and all of that. I called my parents all the time. And I honestly really had a hard time not having my own room. Because I'm like an ambivert. So sometimes I like to chill by myself, and other times, I'm all in for the community thing. Yeah. So one of the ways I had to adapt is that I actually used one of the services here for student well-being, McWell. Which is the McDonald's Center for Wellness. Yeah. We just call it McWell, though. And they have rooms that you can kind of rent out for a small period of time, like an hour. So I would go there. They have one with a massage chair. They've got a nature room where they play bird sounds, and it's very calming. So that was one of the ways that I had to kind of cope with not having my own space anymore, was making my own space in one of the many resources we have available for students. So then outside of residence halls, we also have so many clubs and activities. As a student, like, how do you engage with those extracurriculars?
Yeah, so first you'll start at activities night, which is a night where all the 500 plus different clubs and activities on campus will line the stadium concourse and set up like a booth of trying to make sure you sign up for all these clubs. So I went in as a first year student, not knowing really what I wanted to partake in just yet, but I went around, and one of the fellow seniors that was my RA at that time, was his biggest advice was just go sign up for any club that you might have a little bit of interest. So that's exactly what I did, and I've signed up for like 50 mailing lists of those clubs. I'm still on some of them to this day.
Me too.
And then afterwards, you kind of just start slowly like narrowing it down to the clubs that you really want to partake in, whether that be for your career or your extracurriculars. And sometimes it's just like, some clubs have conflicts during your lab times or your different class times. So then you kind of start formulating the clubs that you're able to partake in. And it's so cool how everybody goes in with the mindset of like, oh no, I want to do this club. I know for sure I'll be involved in this club. Yes, that does happen, and that is an occurrence here, but you'll also be able to find things that you never knew you were interested in. As an example, in the first year of my college career, I was part of folk choir. I didn't sing in high school, and folk choir sings in the Basilica on Sundays at noon, and it's a great experience just to kind of bond with the community. So there's lots of different ways where you can get involved in the Notre Dame community, and everyone is so open no matter what experiences you come from or if you have any prior experiences with these clubs. Now, Ava, we do a lot during the weekdays with our academics and a lot of our extracurriculars. What do you do on the weekends?
Yeah, so I cherish my weekends. I do reserve Sunday for study and relaxation, but on Saturdays I like to do day trips and things like that. One good thing is we're 2 hours away by train to Chicago, so I've gone to see a lot of concerts. I've gone to like jazz bars and things like that. So that's one way to get involved, is just go to Chicago, because I'm honestly not a big city person, but Chicago I really enjoyed. And then also just in South Bend, there are so many things to do. I like to go ice skating at Howard Park. I like to go out to eat. We've got amazing restaurants. One of my favorites is Cafe Navarre. They have like the best filet mignon I've ever had. So yeah, try it out. And I also like to see like performing arts performances, because obviously I'm a dancer. So I went to, recently they had a like surrealist modern art Alice in Wonderland at DPAC, which is DeBartolo Performing Arts Center, where they host all kinds of like performances. So I went to see that. And it was so weird, but also so amazing. And I also went to see the Nutcracker at the Morris Performing Arts Center, which is off campus. It's totally beautiful. The theater is like brilliant and decorated and wonderful. And I saw just like a local South Bend production of the Nutcracker. You know, they had kids in it, and it was just kind of a blast in my past as a dancer. But yeah, it was amazing.
Wow, that's so cool. Student life is so great that sometimes students don't want to leave their campus and go abroad, but they do. Study abroad is such an important part of the Notre Dame undergraduate experience, and we have the second highest percentage of students going abroad in the entire country. Easy to study abroad no matter what major you are, with so many different options.
So I studied abroad in, oh, sorry.
So I am an architecture major. I studied 2 semesters of Italian here at Notre Dame, and after that I took 2 semesters in Rome, Italy. The whole program of architecture there was about immersing yourself in the culture, the language, and also the architecture. We went to a bunch of different regions in Italy, sponsored by the architecture program, and we learned a lot about the culture and the people there. Being like living in Rome and just going out to do like your usual like grocery runs and like buying just like random stuff, going out to do chores or whatever, it felt like I was living a dream, to put it that way. Like my walk from home to the grocery store, like passing by the Coliseum, and then like getting on the buses and just like people coming up to me, talking to me, trying to do my homework like outside, like sketching, watercoloring. All these like local people would come up to me and like compliment me on my work, and I just felt like very welcomed and at home, to say the least.
So that was an amazing thing to hear, because one of my friends, Kate, is abroad in Rome right now, and it looks amazing. My experience was a little different, whole different continent. I studied abroad in Japan, obviously due to my Japanese major. So that was incredible. I did an exchange program. Notre Dame has both global gateways and exchange programs. So a global gateway is Notre Dame students and Notre Dame faculty on kind of a Notre Dame campus somewhere else in the world. But I did an exchange program because I really wanted to interact with the local Japanese students and do language exchange. So I would meet with my language buddy once a week, and we would do an hour talking in English and then an hour speaking in Japanese. But I also got the opportunity to travel all throughout Japan. As you know, the movie made it popular, but there are bullet trains, which means that you can get from like one end of the country to the next really, really quickly and in kind of a luxurious manner. So I got to go to Tokyo. I went to Kyoto. I got to some of the off the beaten path places. Like I went to Kamakura, which is like a beach town. And I also got to do a lot of fun classes. I learned about Japanese history, so like the samurai and all of that was amazing. I got to take a Japanese dance class called Odori, and we danced with the fan. And I learned like some fan tricks, like I can flip it and I can like roll it around. It's awesome. I'll show you sometime.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yeah.
So just from there, I think it's a good turning point to ask, how do you even choose where you want to study abroad? If you don't have a major like me of Japanese where it makes sense, like how do you choose?
Yeah, so choosing where to study abroad is a very daunting process. We have over 80 different study abroad programs on campus, whether that be full semesters like you did. I also did a summer one. So there's a variety of opportunities for students. Now, how do I go about the discerning process? So if you're curious about Study Abroad Office, Notre Dame Global, hosts a great kind of info session about mid-November of your first year that kind of highlights all the different programs available to our students. And it's not limited to a specific college or a specific major. Any student here can truthfully study abroad if they so wish to choose to. And what's so cool about Notre Dame's study abroad program is that if you get any financial aid on campus, those financial aid offerings do carry to your study abroad opportunities as well. And so after you talk with your Notre Dame Global advisor about a specific study abroad that you're interested in, they'll start discerning with you the different classes that you could potentially take there. Those can line up with your major specific classes, which I bet some of those helped in Japan, but they don't have to. A lot of mine, for example, was towards my university core, back to how that all university students have to take that no matter their major. And what's so cool about my study abroad and all the different study abroads is that each program is completely different. So as an example, mine, it was just a 3-week program where we went to Thailand to study the real estate culture there. So Thailand's like the largest hub for vacations. And it's so cool where Notre Dame actually doesn't partner with a specific university there, but they partner with the largest hotel chain, AWC there. And we stayed at luxury, 5-star hotels and resorts our whole time in Thailand. So we went to 3 different cities in Thailand, Bangkok, Koh Samui, and then the last one was Chiang Mai, and Chiang Mai is known for their elephants, so we were able to see the elephants. Unfortunately, elephant riding is no longer a thing. I think it just ended 2 years before we got to Thailand, but there's so many different opportunities and excursions in every single continent and city that Notre Dame is part of. So Ava, what are other ways I can go abroad if I don't want to go study?
Yeah, so we have, like I did, we have research opportunities abroad, and you can get grants to do that. I know Arts and Letters has a RAMP grant, and that will give you funding to do research abroad on a creative project, or even just regular research. But outside of research, you can also get involved through service. We have what's called the ND Bridge program, and a lot of freshmen and sophomores will participate in that, where you actually have a fully immersive summer experience, but rather than doing research or Mendoza related stuff, there's also service, so you can go into a particular community, learn kind of the issues going on in that community and how you can apply what you've learned at Notre Dame to solving those problems in a really collaborative way, working with service organizations already on the ground there, and learning from them in a way, while you can also contribute what you've learned. So it's an awesome exchange, really. But also, you don't have to learn a language to study abroad. You don't have to speak Japanese to go to Japan. There are Japan programs like Tokyo and Kyoto, where you don't have to know the language. But if you would like to learn another language, how do you go about that?
Yeah, so learning another language is really, really easy, and Notre Dame makes it really accessible to every student interested. So we have great foundation courses for all of our language. We have a very large language department, very specialized with different professors in each of their languages, and you can just go ahead and sign up for one of those beginner classes and start your journey there. They're really hands-on, and what I loved about them is that the class is usually taught in the language that you're learning. So you can really have a authentic and hands-on initiative when learning that language, because it's very different than reading it on a piece of text or trying to discern it when you're writing. But to have conversations with your peers and your professors, I think that's what kind of starts that language learning process.
Yeah, and I'm actually, I work at the CSLC, the Center for the Study of Languages and Cultures, and I'm a Japanese tutor, and I literally started Japanese as a freshman, so I don't even know how I got to the point that I could help other people with studying it, but that's just the Notre Dame education for you. But I have a lot of fun tutoring students. We also have a Tadoku, which is called, it's extensive reading. So we have a 1-credit course that you can take if you don't want to load up on credits too much. And it's just reading in Japanese, and they do oral book reports, and it's super fun. So there are all different kinds of classes. There's a super intense, and there's also the low time commitment, because really the university wants you in whatever capacity you can to get involved in learning another language. I feel like college is a unique time where, like, once I'm, I want to be a lawyer. So once I'm a lawyer, am I going to have time to study Japanese 5 hours a day or something? No, but I have the time and the incentive now. And so I would really encourage anyone to take the opportunity while you're here to try something new.
Yeah. And I think that message of going out of your way to try something new is fully integrated in everything that we do. So I never thought I would like pickleball. And my random roommate, so as a first year, you're placed with a random roommate, loves pickleball. And I was like, I don't know what this thing is. Like, this is just knockoff tennis to me. But what's so compelling is that somehow at the end of the year, after I interacted with my random roommate, him and his cousin and we all bounded together to found the first Notre Dame pickleball club. So that's a really cool and ongoing thing, and you never know where you're going to end up. So just keep an open eye and open heart to all the different possibilities here.
Yeah. So moving on from study abroad, though I could talk about it forever, another thing that makes Notre Dame so distinct and unique is that it is deeply committed to its Catholic character.
So talking about ways to live out faith through service and what that looks like to either for yourself or people around campus, it's really integral part of the Notre Dame experience is the faith life. We are a Catholic institution, and Dillon Hall has Dillon Hall Mass, and every dorm has their own chapel and every dorm has their own Mass. But Dillon Hall's is the largest Mass on campus. It's hosted Thursdays night at 10 p.m. right after folk choirs' rehearsals, and it would be a standing Mass because so many students would go and enjoy a milkshake right after Mass. That Dillon Hall completely pays for. And about each Mass, it will usually take $200 of milkshake funds to fund each Mass that have of all the large milkshakes or large quantities of milkshake that Dillon Hall makes. So that's a great way to kind of integrate yourself through the faith life is through Masses. We have 160 Masses a week on campus, so you can try to hit every single one of them. I've heard people have tried but failed. But there's also other opportunities too to get involved with whatever faith denomination you align to.
I think the main way I was able to build community here in Como is through ISI, especially because it was an interdenominational Christian group. I was able to be intentional about being surrounded by other Christian students on campus, not just Catholic, but also Protestant or Orthodox or any other denomination as well. I think being able to come together and worship Jesus, also listening to other students give their testimony. I was also able to share some of my stories and how I've grown in God over the past years of my life. I think those were very important, and that's really how I was able to meet some of my closest friends. So I think the main way that I was really able to grow in my faith was specifically with the Voices of Faith Gospel Choir. I think that it changed the way I worship Jesus, especially being exposed to a different style of music. I think that gospel music was something that I wasn't really exposed to when I was back home in the Philippines, but seeing how animated and dynamic it is, I absolutely love the call and response aspect of it. I also just love all of the lyrics that they've been able to write throughout history. I think that was one way that I was able to really incorporate performance and worship at the same time. I think that college is the perfect time to really make your relationship with God yours, and I think being surrounded by other Christian students who had such different but also beautiful spiritual walks as well was very encouraging.
So it's awesome to see all the different ways that students get involved with faith here on campus, and how it's really, people talk about having individual spiritual encounters, but also it's great to have a community that you can speak with and really discern your own faith alongside. So one of the ways that I like to engage with these opportunities is just going to Mass on Sundays in Lewis Hall. because that's Sundays. So that means after Mass, we make a ice cream sundae. So we get to pick our toppings, and it's very fun. I also like to go to Luch, which is kind of a unique Lewis religious event. But that's where we invite a speaker from really anywhere on campus to give a speech. And then we light candles and really just reflect. And it's a very peaceful time. Being a college student can be crazy running from one place to another, but I really like to take, Mass and Luch and all of these events as a time to really slow down and think about what's important to me, what do I believe, why do I hold those beliefs, and how can I, put them into action. And another kind of perk to having a Catholic university like Notre Dame is that we have live-in priests. So my dorm's live-in priest is Father Aaron, and Father Aaron is so amazing. So he is a baker, and he will bake us baked goods at any time of day. It's so amazing, when it's late at night, I'm studying, and I suddenly get an email from Father Aaron, monkey bread in my room, come get it.
Wow.
And then I sprint. Because if I don't get there fast enough, it'll be gone. There's 200 people in Lewis or something. So I will go and get those big goods, have a chat with Father Aaron, and then get right back to my studying. But it's a great break. He also hosts his own he has an apartment in Lewis, so he's got a little more space. So he hosts movie nights. He loves black and white movies. So we'll all get together and watch black and white movies with him. So just having that relationship with Father Aaron makes me feel comfortable, that I could come to him about any of my faith-related questions, and just have super deep and thoughtful conversations, not only with him, but with the other Lewis Hall girls. And it's super awesome. How do you kind of get involved?
Yeah, so actually we have the best priest in residence out of all the dorms. Once again, just reiterating the fact that Balmer Hall is the best dorm on campus. We have Father Pete McCormick. He's kind of like the on-campus celebrity.
Yeah.
If his face pops up during one of our home football games, you can hear the students roaring for his name. He's one of our most beloved priests, and he's actually head of the campus ministry department. And campus ministry is such a supportive department on campus. They help in every way they can, whether you are Catholic or you're not Catholic. If you aren't Catholic, don't worry. They will find you your place of worship, whether that be off campus. They'll help you find transportation to get to those places of worship. And if you are Catholic, campus ministry is just, they host various events throughout the week. As an example, they do Meatball Mondays, where all the students can just 5 p.m. go to the Como building and just have meatballs, and they just talk about different scripture passages they're reading and just have a discussion about their faith life, or maybe just have a discussion on how does their day-to-day interact with the faith life that they're living out. So there's various ways that you can get integrated into faith, however you practice and whatever you practice. So, and you don't have to be, you don't have to come in really wanting to be part of that faith community. You'll find yourself there through various different facets. As an example, folk choir. Once again, I didn't think I was going to be singing for a Basilica choir, but first year, somehow I managed to audition onto the folk choir, and I sang every Sunday at noon in the Basilica. The Basilica is an amazing and beautiful place. The stained glass windows are just amazing just to look at and kind of let your imagination run wild. But that's a lot of the things on campus. Do you have any ways where students can get involved with service or faith life off of campus?
Yeah, so almost every student I know has some experience with service, and obviously that includes me. So I have volunteered in a lot of different capacities. One of the ways is through Unity Gardens, and that is a South Bend nonprofit, and it's a community garden where they can grow produce and then distribute that to the South Bend community. And it's a great way for people who might not typically have access to fresh fruit and vegetables and stuff like that, to be able to obtain them. And it's just a community-based service project that I really love. There's also the Robinson Community Learning Center, where a lot of students get involved because that was founded by Notre Dame. And it's a place for students, so K through 12, to have enrichment educational programming, and the students will volunteer in multiple capacities as tutors. I recently applied to be a tutor there. They have so many tutors that I don't even know. It's kind of competitive, actually. And another way I've gotten involved is actually through Dance Co., one of my clubs. So Dance Co. has a partnership with Notre Dame's Special Olympics, and so I have gotten to teach ballet to, Special Olympic athletes, and that has just been such a privilege because, as a ballet dancer here at Notre Dame, I get to perform, I get to go to class, but getting to teach people is something I really, really enjoy because, I spent so much time learning it, and now I get to really share it with others. How about you, Ashton?
Yeah, so there's various ways that you can get integrated into the idea of service. Like you said, the Robinson Learning Center is a great way. Another way is Mercy Works. It's an organization on campus where students will get paired up with different organizations in the local community. And it's really onto the students' schedule, and it fits perfectly with them because Mercy Works does prioritize the students' academics. And so students can sign up for any programming that works for their schedule. So it could range from like weekly tutoring sessions at like 5 p.m. If that's the best time that works for you, Mercy Works will find an opportunity that works best for you. So there's various organizations and groups here on campus. Another one I'll just highlight really quick is the Institute of Social Concerns. One of my best friends was able to actually take a class with one of our business professors, Professor Wendy Inks, in her innovative design thinking class. And what she was able to do was that following summer, she went to Uganda to help the St. Bakita sisters in a vocational school. So she's helping them actually distribute these woven bags made by these St. Bakita sisters and distribute them across the whole globe, which is kind of cool, where you can be able to apply your knowledge that you learn in like business school to an actual real world solution. So thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We want to just make sure that we are here as a source of resource for you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your individual counselors. Also, just remember to sign up for the rally. The rally is a great experience for you to come on campus and kind of feel what it's like to be a Notre Dame student and also interact with some of your potential classmates. But if you have any questions about the rally, feel free to also email your admissions counselor. And if you are unable to attend because of conflicts, no worries. That's not the only way you can get involved and be on campus. We have tours for students that are looking into getting to learn a little bit about Notre Dame. And the rally is also a great opportunity for you to come and see us. So yeah.
And genuinely, if you ever have a question or you want to meet with me on campus, I love to meet people who have like seen me on their screen, but we haven't actually talked. So you can find all my information is actually on the admissions website. Yep. So like Meet the Interns or something it's called, or just like Google my name and you'll find me. Yeah. Ava Hyde. But also don't forget to follow us on social media. We've got Instagram, we've got TikTok, and you can see a lot of behind the scenes of life here at Notre Dame. I'm actually part of the social media team. So if you want to see some videos I've made, go ahead and check them out. But other than that, I just kind of want to send you all off with, I guess, the most important part about Notre Dame is that we are all part of the same Notre Dame community, and we are all oriented around our mission to be a force for good in the world. And the world can mean South Bend. It can be a force for good with your peers, helping your peer out studying for a really hard exam. Or it can be a force for good somewhere like in Uganda with the St. Bakita's Vocational Learning Center. Or it can be doing research on really important things like cancer or sustainable energy or global health. But like what's really important is that you remember Notre Dame's character, because we are so true to our values and so passionate about them. And whatever way you see yourself here, whether that's research, whether that's, I really like dance, I'll join that dance thing. I encourage you to try new things, to pursue your passions, and go Irish.
Go Irish.